Holman, tell me you've experienced new headlights. New headlights are so freaking awesome.
Yeah, I just pulled up from my trip to Nashville, and you were waiting outside my house to record, and I'm like, what vehicle's in front of my house? Because the headlights were on, and I'm like, oh, it's the dually with, I don't know, somebody's more modern-looking headlights.
So I was driving, as you know, a lot of times I will steal the 2007 and a half Ram 3500 dually, and the lights in this Banks truck are awful. They're like carbide miners helmet lamps from the
ones that have
1850s.
Flames.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. And they're just so weak. And the other day, the driver's side went out. And I go, okay, it's time to change the bulb because I don't want to get a ticket. And then I thought, you know what? I know someone, I think, at Alpha Rex. And I called Adam Banks, and I said, hey, Adam, buddy, I see on your website you've got some 06 to 08 Nova Series LED projector headlights. And he goes, they're brand new. Do you want them? I said, yes, absolutely. Picked them up Friday, installed them today, and dude, it is so wonderful having bright white lights.
Wait. Are they good, though, or are they just brighter? Because you get aftermarket lights sometimes, and the cutoff pattern's horrible. And it's like, yeah, they put out more light, but they're not like focused. They're not better. That's what I'm always leery of that. Tell me these are better.
So there are 4 like cubes in each side, drivers and passengers.
Kind of like a Honda or an Acura.
Yes, exactly. And 3 of the cubes are your low beams, and 1 is the high. Mm-hmm. And very focused, great cutoff. The throw is really good. I have had some LEDs that suck.
How many people flashed you since you got them put in?
Well, so as you know, in this dually, it's got a rake to it.
Yeah, it's got a rake.
So there were probably set
and a shovel,
in the
an old ladder, a bunch of leaves in the bed.
No, I'm saying like the ass end of the truck is up in the air.
High,
right?
Yes.
It's kind of silly. It's not awful, but it's not great.
Right.
Anyway, so they probably set these at the factory for a level truck because they're a little low right now. So no one brighted me. No one flashed me.
So you need to adjust the housings up a little bit.
I do. But the only bummer is in that year, the 06 to 08, with those, what do they call them? Armadais, right? Uh-huh. You have to pull the freaking headlight out to adjust them. You can't there's so much crap behind the headlight. This has nothing to do with Alpha Rex. It has everything to do with Ram. You have to pull the dang headlight out to adjust it and then hold it in with your hand as you look at a wall at night and adjust the pattern, and then put it back in and then take it out. That's silly. You should be able to adjust it right on top or through the backside. But I will take that because the light is so good. And I was telling you how I took our Ford F-250.
Yep.
And that was like candles as well.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get the
LED package.
The LED package. Yeah. Dude, please, people, get the LED package.
It's
so wonderful.
If they go out or break, they're thousands of dollars to replace.
There is that.
Yeah.
There is that. But there's aftermarket companies like Alpha Rex or so many others. And
so
I've only had them in for now 6 hours.
Okay. What would they have cost somebody to buy them?
$1,100.
Okay. So probably.
Now that's with bulbs and all. That is with it all comes in the box.
Is it plug and play?
Yes. It was
nothing.
The only thing that I had to do is I had to wire an additional power and ground and then go into the fuse box. But that took me. It gives you leads for it.
Yeah.
And that took me 10 extra minutes.
Okay.
And it comes with all the leads. It's all packaged, ready to go. So I had never installed Alpha Rex before, or I have a lot. I won't name names, but on my old Silverado, I had some that were crap. And they got condensation in them.
Do they have condensation in them yet?
Yeah, these now, no.
Okay.
No.
After the first rainstorm, I want to check in on them.
Let's review them.
Because you just don't know. Some of these companies, it's like, you know?
It's true.
I don't understand how you're like, they make this awesome replacement. It's $1,000. Yeah, they'll get fog in them. Don't worry about it. You
don't want any fog. No, the factory ones don't get any fog in them.
I know.
I had a couple of sat on my BMW years ago. They would always get foggy, and parts inside started to rust, and it was just not good. Anyway, the verdict is still out, but so far, so good.
So crazy.
Oh, wait. Yeah. They when you turn them on, they wag, which is kind of cool.
Oh,
for an
they welcome
07,
you.
Yeah, they welcome you.
Yeah.
And it's got the timers and all that stuff. So
when are you doing the taillights so that you don't have incandescent bulbs on one end and LED on the other?
I thought about that.
See, this is what
I
happens.
don't really care. I just wanted I just want a good light because I've taken that truck to Colorado, to Utah, all over the place.
So you don't care if somebody runs in the back of you. You just want to make sure you can see ahead of you.
It wouldn't hurt me. It's a long bed, dude. Like
that's true.
I wouldn't even feel it.
Well, I mean, it depends if that old truck, if the body mount's rusted, and then it just was like a sled that slid through the back, or if it would crumple.
Speaking of like suspension components, the sway bar ends, the sway bar links.
Yeah.
When I was crawling under there to do some of the wiring
You're
of the
like,
lights,
those are bad.
They're gone. They're freaking gone. The rubber is completely pulled apart, and they chatter. When I was coming out of Wiener Schnitzel tonight on the way here, it was a. So lights are good, suspension not so much.
That's what I'm hearing. Time for a new truck. You know, if you sold that truck today because it was a diesel and it's pre-emissions or at least the DEF and all that stuff, that truck's probably, even with 250,000 miles or whatever it has on it.
It's got 180.
180. That truck is probably $30,000.
Yeah, every bit of it.
The only way it would be better is if it was a 4-wheel drive, but it's a 2-wheel drive dually.
But 2-wheel drive, you know why it's coveted? For all the lowered guys.
Lower guys, and then towing your big fifth wheel because you don't have to worry about, having the truck too tall to like have the trailer dented or
it's already got a fifth wheel hitch ready to go in there.
Huh?
Yeah.
So I thought you were going to buy that truck at one point. Does that hurt? Okay, we won't go there.
Yeah, let's not. It was that was this is good. And I have to tell. I have to share this.
Mm-hmm.
Gail's daughter Liz. She oversees all the finances.
Right.
At one point, about 5 years ago, she offered me that truck,
and you said no
for $500.
Yeah, see, you spent more on the headlights.
And can I tell you why this stings so hard?
Listen,
because my wife said it's not about the money. I had to turn. I turned it down.
Mm-hmm.
I said that is awesome, wonderful deal. Obviously, $500 for a truck like that. And I had to turn it down
because why
didn't
you tell me? Because I would have bought it because I need a truck.
It was offered to me, not you.
But you
I
said
had
no.
to turn it down because I had
no parking.
Lockjaw. I had just taken possession.
What you should have said,
of Lockjaw.
This is the problem. When Lockjaw's ownership changed, you should have said, "I'll trade you for the other truck."
I should have. I should have.
All right. So enough about Lightning in his trucks. Did you hear what happened to Motor Trend again?
So Motor Trend sold. It is now owned by the company that owns Hearst, who have so it's Car and Driver, Road Track, and all those.
And they laid off like a bunch of people that we know, a bunch of our friends.
Do you think they're going to hire them back now?
No.
Oh.
No, I think those jobs are all overlapping. I don't know what it's going to be like. So, okay, we know the Motor Trend production shut down. That's a different company that was owned by Warner Brothers Discovery. And then now Motor Trend, which does the editorial.
The video content.
Yeah, they split them up at one point. And so now the production's gone, as we talked about in a previous episode, but now the editorial team. So we'll see what happens when the deal closes in January, what happens with everybody. I'm sure they all have their severances. I've been there. I know what it's like. Sucks.
You hope they have severances.
Dude, right before the holidays, though.
Yeah.
Savage.
It happens a lot like that. Remember when they blew up K-Rock? It was right before the holidays.
Merry Christmas to you and your families. Yay.
You get some extra free time to spend with the family.
Yeah, well, there's that.
Yeah.
So shout out to all of our friends over at Motor Trend who have been gracious over the years and shared info with us and been on the show and written great stories and all that. I hope the guys that are no longer there will land on their feet because I got a soft spot for everybody.
They're talented. There are a lot of talented people there. Yeah. And so, changing topic. Did you come back from your trip with an accent?
Why would I come back from a trip with an accent?
Because you did like everything Tennessee when you were in Tennessee recently.
Well, that's what you do because it's like when in Rome. So went out to.
You didn't come back. You don't speak Italian when you come back from Rome. But I think some of the twang could rub off from Tennessee.
No, y'all didn't do any of that. No, seriously. Went out to Tennessee and got to drive the new Murano, which obviously probably isn't a core tenet of the Truck Show podcast, but I did drive the new Armada. I did drive the new Frontier with the cool wheels and the updated interior with the big screen. Awesome.
You got an orange one, didn't you?
Afterburner orange, yeah.
Okay. Is that what it's called? Afterburner orange?
That's what it is, yeah.
That's actually a cool title.
No, that's cool. And so I called up Nissan. I said, hey, coming out Wednesday through Friday, my best friends moved out there a few years ago. I haven't seen them since they moved. Would you mind if I made my flight home on Sunday? And then would you have a vehicle I could borrow while I'm in town? And they said, yeah, we've got the new Frontier if you want to drive it. I know
yes.
So I show up at the airport, and I go down to valet, and I give them the number, and a bright orange truck pulls up. And I went, all right, this is my ride. And so my wife flew in on Friday and picked her up at the airport. We stayed with our friends. And then we just
How did she feel about the orange?
She liked it.
Okay.
That was cool. And then we did everything. So I got to hang out with my buddy Greg and his wife Laura, and we've been friends for like 25 years, and hung out at their giant house that they have in Arrington, which is just outside of Nashville, and did all the things. So we went down, had to do the Lower Broadway thing. So we went to Honky Tonkin and went in like 4 or 5 of the bars and did that. I went to Hattie B's. My wife had never had Hattie B's Nashville hot chicken before and love Hattie B's. So
neither have I.
Took her there. It's awesome. And went and did the bar thing, which was fun. And then we went to Jack Daniel's in Lynchburg to the distillery, and
that cool?
was awesome. Totally, that tour was totally
I have
worth it.
never been in Nashville. Wait. Yes, I have, but it was for a work event at the radio station for one night. So I didn't get to, I got ripped off.
And then if you remember, Carrie Bringle was on our show in SEMA
yes.
2 years ago.
Sure.
2 or 3 years ago.
He was great.
Nope. That is Carrie, who owns Peg Leg Porker.
Oh, yes.
And if you remember, he and Nissan got together to do a truck for Peg Leg Porker.
Yeah, he was funny.
Yeah, and he was a great barbecue. So I've been wanting to go to Peg Leg Porker for a long time since that interview. I'm like, man, every time I think of that, I'm like, I got to get there, and I haven't been able to. So I texted Carrie, and I'm like, hey, this is Sean from the Truck Show Podcast, and I'm going to come have dinner with you, and I hope you're in town. So he was in town, very gracious. So I got to finally experience Peg Leg Porker for the first time. And then I went to Waffle House twice.
Why?
So Greg's...
did you lose a bet?
Well, no. Greg's middle son was coming up from Miami, where he goes to college, and he brought 2 of his buddies with him. And then my godson, his younger brother, who's, I guess, he'll be 18, so I guess he's 17. And Greg and I were drinking an entire bottle of whiskey, and it was like 11 o'clock, and my wife was sleeping, and Laura comes down to check on us. She's like, what are you idiots doing? And we're like, and we're like, we need to go to Waffle House.
Did you have cigars?
And she's like, no. And she's like, you guys cannot drive there. I have to drive you there. So Laura drove the boys and Greg and I, and we went to Waffle House completely drunk.
This is at what time?
This would be like 11:30.
Okay.
We had the best waitress. She thought it was hilarious. And she comes over, and I'm like, these kids, they go to college in Miami, and they think they know how to order Waffle House. I got to teach them how to really do it, right? So it's like diced chunks, smothered, like the whole deal. And
wait, what is diced chunks?
I like mine peppered.
What?
Smothered.
What diced
peppered,
what?
Ham.
Oh.
And then you get tomatoes, you get jalapenos, you get the onions in, and you get the cheese over the top. So good. And so these guys are like, oh, I didn't even know. I'm like, this is Waffle House. So anyway, so we did that, right? And I'm thinking, I got my Waffle House. Dude, I got Hattie B. I got Peg Leg Porker.
How much weight did you put on?
Don't worry about it. And so I was in heaven because I was able to go to Waffle House, and I was able to go to Peg Leg. I was able to go to Hattie B. So closed out the night, and then Greg and I stayed up, doing guy stuff till about 2:30 in the morning. And I went to bed, and then my wife wakes me up this morning at like 9. She goes, we got to get going because we got to leave for the airport if you want to have breakfast on the way to the airport. And I'm like, all right. So we get up, we start packing up. She goes, I've never been to Waffle House.
No, she did not. No. Oh, see, I loved your wife up until this moment right now.
So I took her to Waffle House. So I had Waffle House twice.
She's like, I've never eaten out of a toilet.
Listen.
Will you take me to the nicest toilet?
I had Waffle House twice within 12 hours, and I lived to tell the tale. Here I am. So anyway, it was a great trip. I love Nashville, and can't wait to go back because there's so much to do there. Whether it's like Civil War history,
all right, enough of that.
Bourbon Trail.
What did you bring back audio wise?
Okay, so our friend Brent Hagen, who we did the walk around on the new Armada, if you remember, except he was on a video call that I was holding the mic up to, right?
Yes.
He was there in person, so he and I finally got a chance.
He's a real person.
He's a real person. He's there in person, so I got to drive the new Armada, got to tow with it. Really impressive. So a lot of great stuff. There's a quick interview with him. And then we've got some Know Your Notes. And then we've got some emails. So we got
I'm not feeling confident about the Know Your Notes.
Action-packed episode right here.
All right, let's take well, I feel like we've already talked about Nissan quite a bit.
All right, well, we have to thank Nissan because without Nissan as our presenting sponsor, the Truck Show podcast would not exist the way it does today. So thank you, Nissan. If you're in the market for a midsize truck, the new Frontier is awesome. A lot of value. The new Pro 4X, bigger screen, all that. I had the top of the line. It was so great. Under $50K. Go look at truck prices today. That is a bargain for all the tech you get. And here's the thing. All the new trucks are like turbocharged and hybrid and all the stuff. This is a simple 3.8-liter V6, 310 horse, 9-speed automatic transmission, leaf springs in the back. It's the way a truck should be. And it's just great. And it has all the stuff.
Just enough tech and not too much.
Yeah, it's got wireless CarPlay. It's got a phone charging. It's got USB A and C ports. It's got adaptive cruise control and all those things. And it's just enough to be modern without being super expensive. I love it. So go down to your local dealer, check out the all-new 25 Nissan Frontier, and then also the new Armada's on the way. We're going to talk about that. If you love body-on-frame trucks, Nissan's still doing it, and they're still doing it well.
All right. I want to apologize on behalf of Banks for not getting out shipments as quickly as we wanted to over the last week or so. We, Holman, at Banks, were decimated over Black Friday and Cyber Monday. It was crazy. The brand is absolutely on fire. If you've ordered a Monster Ram, which you should have for your Ram truck, your 2007 to 24.
Because you were stocking them deep and selling them cheap?
We were not selling them cheap.
Oh.
There was a couple of group deals. If you happen to be on one of the Facebook groups that I admin and stuff, maybe you saw.
Your listener.
Yep, or Truck Show Podcast listeners. If you ordered a Monster Ram, it is coming. I promise you, it is on the way. It's an embarrassment of riches. So thank you to everyone for your patience.
Sounds like your bank account.
A little bit, yes.
Yes.
I also want to congratulate all of my Duramax owners that purchased the new Cool Runner oil pan and Ram Air Trans pan. Those are already shipping. They're on their way. And we've had some guys actually putting 1/8-inch NPT temp sensors in the trans and oil pans and already reporting double-digit drops over, Holman, not just the stock one, other aftermarket brands.
I'm not surprised.
So I'm just saying, if you have a Duramax, an 01 to 19, and coming soon for 20 plus, with an Allison, we've got a Ram Air Transpan for you. And if you've got an L5P, which is 17 to current, we've got Ram Air Transpans for you. Hit up bankspower.com to find yours.
All right, I'm sorry to say that our special with our friends over at AMSOIL has come to an end, so I'm hopeful that as many of you took advantage of that as possible. I got a couple emails from our listeners.
I used my 10 millimeters, by the way.
Oh, did you?
I used it today on the Alpha Rex headlights.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I had a couple people DM me with the screenshots that they had ordered from AMSOIL using our code. And
nice.
I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. We really appreciate that. It's funny, the video we did for them, the reel, 30,000 views.
No, what?
Yeah. We're at 30,000 views.
Okay.
So that's pretty good, right? I think not
go
bad.
us.
It's not bad for the Truck Show podcast for, two dudes in a shed in the backyard and doing fun things for like multi-million-dollar U.S. companies. So, hey,
go us.
Listen, if you're in the market for any type of lubrication, car care products, oil, grease, whatever it is, there's no better synthetic product out there than what you can get from AMSOIL.com. AMSOIL is the leader in synthetics. They were the first ones there. We love the product. Lightning and I both use it on our own vehicles. We're customers, and we appreciate them taking care of the Truck Show podcast and sponsoring us because they're a brand we love.
Can I tell you what would have been super embarrassing?
What?
The shirt you're wearing,
Yeah.
I almost put on the way here.
So we would have been
Because I was
twinsies?
filthy, because I was under the hood today.
Yeah.
And I took a shower in the middle of the
Thank
day,
you for
which I
taking a
normally
shower.
don't do.
I appreciate that.
And I go, and I said, I rummaging through all my new, because I got a bunch of new shirts from various friends and stuff. And that's the one that pulled out, the long sleeve AMSOIL 1972 shirt. And I'm like, dude, it's so soft.
It is soft.
I'm going to wear this.
So I'm wearing this because I left Tennessee this morning. It was 40-something and went to the airport. And it's hit or miss in the airport, whether it's going to be warm or cool. And so, like, with this, if the airplane's a little bit warm, I'm good. If the airplane's a little bit cool, I'm good. I'm like, I'm gonna wear my nice soft AMSOIL shirt. So this is now become one of my favorite travel shirts.
Sarah and Holly stepped up and they're like, hey, we're gonna really knock it out of the park with our new merch. I go, okay, we'll see.
Yeah,
and they did.
How many times have I worn my AMSOIL shirts since we got it when you've come here?
Most times
most
of the episodes.
Because I thought about it and I'm like, I just happen, like, after my wife does laundry and they're at the top, I just like them so much, I just grab them.
I mean, look, you're going to AMSOIL for your lubricants and you're not thinking about merch. Just FYI, they got some good stuff. Changing gears to EGR, they still have their sale going on right now for the Roll Track, the manual retractable Roll Track tonneau cover. Go over to EGRUSA.com. This is it. I think this is the last week that they're going to offer this deal. Up to 30% off plus a rebate of $250 on all manual Roll Track bed covers. Again, 30% off plus a rebate of $250 on all manual Roll Track bed covers. I'm rocking the electric one. It's amazing. If you want to step up and go baller like lightning, then go electric. It's super sweet. It locks with a key in your truck, and it's
weatherproof.
awesome.
It's like having a trunk. It's super high quality.
So the manual one is weatherproof as well.
Yeah, they're all awesome.
They've got a video where they took like a backhoe of water, they dumped water on it, and nothing.
Christmas is coming up. Buy yourself something. Do it for you.
Yeah.
You just went shopping. Your wife didn't tell you what she wanted. You have no idea. You probably did a horrible job at that. Your kids wanted a bunch of expensive stuff. You spent too much money on them. You're like, I can't even believe it. I never do anything for myself. You know what? Put those sad feelings of giving aside and just be selfish for once. Get yourself the product for your truck that you've been eyeing. The Truck Show podcast approves it. You deserve to have yourself a Merry Christmas. Be your own Santa Claus. EGRUSA.com.
The Truck Show. We're gonna show you what we know. We're gonna answer what the truck. 'Cause truck rhymes with the Truck Show. We have the lifted, we have the lowered, and everything in between. We'll talk about trucks that run on diesel and the ones that run on gasoline.
The Truck Show, the Truck Show, the Truck Show. Whoa.
It's the Truck Show with your hosts, Lightning and Holman.
All right, I'm in Franklin, Tennessee, which is just outside of Nashville. It's the headquarters for our friends over at Nissan. And I'm in the 2025 Nissan Armada. So this is the media drive. And I was driving along, found a hitchhiker, and I picked him up. And it turned out it's our friend, Brent Hagen from Nissan.
What's going on? It was cold out there. Thanks for picking me up.
So I woke up this morning, and through my hotel room, beautiful, like sunny. It was amazing. I looked at the temperature was 27 degrees.
Yeah, there was frost on my windshield this morning.
I was like, it was like 40 low at home and a 70 high the other day. This is, it's weird when your brain goes, ooh, sunny, nice outside. And you walk outside and you go, whoa. So
yeah, welcome to the other 99% of America.
yeah, I guess I'm pretty lucky. I'm also lucky because I finally got behind the wheel of the new Nissan Armada. So people may remember we did some podcasts back when a long time ago. We went to Morocco with like all of the Nissan global vehicles, and you were on that trip. And back then, it was at 2018 was when the very beginnings of this vehicle were being put together. And you since went away for a little while and then came back to the program?
Yeah, correct. And so 2018, we were out there. We had just started a couple months earlier work on this program, so I couldn't talk much about it, but I was doing a lot of listening to every feedback that you were giving me and the rest. We've done a lot of talking to dealers and everyone, but spent a few years on the program, then went off and did a couple more things and been back on it for about a year now launching it.
So obviously, if you listen to the podcast, you know that Brent did a video walk around with me. He was remote, and I had a chance to see the vehicle static in a super secret warehouse location a couple months ago. And I've been waiting to get behind the wheel. They had this at the LA Auto Show. We did our OVR activation, and they had the two vehicles there, a Platinum Reserve and a Pro 4X. And today was finally the day. Came out to Tennessee and did a on-road portion in the Platinum Reserves, which we're sitting in right now, and then we did an off-road portion in the Pro 4X, and does not disappoint. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I saw it. We walked through it. It was impressive. But to have it on the highway, on the road, driving it dynamically, wow.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, my friend. Thanks for coming out here to my home. But you picked up on, your listeners, the customers we talked to, the dealers, they touched on and said, like, why can't you make this like the Patrol? So we've done that, right? We've brought the Patrol and the Armada into one vehicle, and so you're getting that experience today, the off-road capability, the on-road comfort, the luxuriousness of that Patrol seeping through into the Armada. So we've tried to stretch in every direction, luxury capability, towing capacity, all of that to make this the best Armada yet.
It's definitely the best Armada yet, and I can't believe that the incoming base price is identical to last year's model. And then from there, it goes up to around, 78, 79, so just under that 80 mark, fully loaded. So the value for what you get is huge. If you compare it across the segment with the feature set that you get, Probably the biggest thing that was a question mark was going from the tried and true 5.6 liter V8 to the new 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 that is has a loose family lineage, but is based on the GTR V6, which is undoubtedly the most flogged production V6 in the history of automotive. If you think of GTR and racing and all the cars you sold for 15 years, and you have a pretty good idea about what works on that car, what need to be beefed up. You beefed it up for truck work. What is it, 103 pound-feet of torque more than the V8, something like that?
Yeah, it's 103 pound-feet, 25 more horsepower. It's better in every way than the outgoing V8, and that's coming from a lover of the old outgoing V8.
You have a V8 Pathfinder.
I have 4 vehicles in my household that are VK56 powered engines, or vehicles. I love that motor, but it does everything better than the outgoing VK56. It just doesn't sound like a V8. It's got a great V6 sound. That's the only thing it doesn't have is a V8 sound.
I would V6s are really hard to make sound good, to be honest. And Nissan's one of those companies that seems to be able to make a V6 sound decent. This definitely is growly sounding. It sounds more burly than you might expect from a 3.5. But I will tell you, anybody listening who may have doubted the engine and driveline change, this thing is phenomenal. Throttle tip in. It feels like the transmission and engine combination is completely finished. There isn't anything left on the table. You guys really dialed that in. Power delivery, the flat torque curve, acceleration. This is a big ass vehicle, and it feels. It drives smaller than it is. It's light on its feet because the powertrain is so good. And I couldn't believe just getting in from the second you press the throttle, you go, oh wow! And then merging onto the roadway outside of the facility we're at, effortless.
Yeah, that was the whole idea. And you touched on a couple points there. One is we wanted to have the right powertrain at the right time and for the right price and the right value. And we couldn't do that. If we had made this thing a hybrid, if we'd made it an EV, we could not have maintained that value, that lower entry price point, the same as the outgoing model. We want people who are in a current Armada today to be able to walk back into a dealership and have a comparable price point. We want people to be able to recognize and see the value that we offer that's unparalleled in the full-size SUV market. So it helps us from that cost perspective to position the vehicle correctly. But then also it's outstanding power. And then as you touched on, we've done a lot to the vehicle, the engine specifically, to not just put a V6, a sports car V6, which we've known they're unbreakable in the GTR, but not just take that and slap it into a big SUV that's going to be towing, that's going to be off-roading, that's got more weight than a sports car. So we wanted to develop it specifically for truck applications. We've done things like that. We've made the crate case stronger. We've moved the turbos up in the engine bay so that they're not sucking up water as you're doing water fording. So we've done a lot of those things intentionally to make this a truck application.
And because it's the actual Nissan Patrol, Armada in America, but they're the same vehicle globally, you have some incredibly demanding customers with what their needs are for capabilities overseas, whether it's cold, freezing environments, whether it's the sand dunes of the Middle East. And so this vehicle has to perform in harsh environments. So it had to be designed for that. And the person buying it for their daily driver is getting the benefit of all that engineering to make it a robust and rugged vehicle in those really harsh environments.
No doubt about it. We're not doing something unique for those markets that we're not doing here. They have demands for sand dune bashing. They drive like banshees over there. They've got some crazy demands, but then we have crazy demands for towing and for off-roading and some of the things that we need. But we've meshed that into one phenomenal package. And we have engineering teams that are in Japan. We have engineering teams in those Gulf Coast countries. We have engineering teams here in the U.S. that are all working together to make sure every aspect of the customer need is satisfied, and the customer here in the U.S. will benefit from all of that engineering work.
So we got to go do several different events. So I want to walk through a few things. First event was on-road driving. Quiet. I was really impressed. I'm not a fan of air suspension. I've said it before on the podcast. It's really hard to tune. You've matched your air suspension on this with electronic dampers, basically, and they work really well together. The ride is absolutely fantastic. There's sport mode, tightens things up a little bit. Handling is really good, but going down the road, it's a big cushy couch if you want it to be, but it's not wallowy. It's comfortable. The 14.3-inch dual screens on the higher models, like the Platinum Reserve we're sitting in now and the Pro 4X, phenomenal. You still have hard buttons where you want hard buttons, visibility, mirrors, the seating position. It's funny, it's very open and airy, but it doesn't feel like anything's out of reach or far away. Somehow you've made this airy feel inside the cabin without making it feel like things are far away, ergonomics are bad. I mean, everything's at your fingertips. So I had a chance to drive it with ProPilot 2, which is the full hands-free but eyes-up system. So you can get ProPilot, which is like more of a lane keep assist, hands-on, and then ProPilot 2.0, eyes on the road. And it'll tell you, if you look down to check a text, it's yelling at you. But on the highway, no problem. Screen goes from green to blue, and you're off to the races as long as that's a mapped category in the system. Yep. That was great. And then the Clipsich sound system, 12-channel, 600 watts. Now, I know there's a lot of manufacturers out there that are talking about how, they've got this 1,200-watt system and 19 speakers and all this. This system, unless you hear it, even has the titanium dome tweeters in it. Mm-hmm. This system, unless you hear it, you cannot believe the level of clarity, the loudness. It reminds me of the Fender audio system, which punches above its weight. We've talked about how much we like that in the truck product. It reminds me of that, but next level in terms of loudness and even beyond clarity, bass. It's really impressive.
Well, and it also benefits from this vehicle is so well put together. It's so tight. You can't just slap a fantastic audio system with a ton of power into a vehicle because it'll just rattle it apart. This vehicle is so tight. I know I'm speaking from the Nissan perspective, but it's so tight that all that bass, all that mid bass stays in the vehicle. You feel it in your chest. You don't feel and hear the door panels and everything rattling around you.
One of the things that you talked about, and we'll kind of merge this into the next conversation, is all the cameras that you have on here, whether it's in the mirror or you actually have dash cams that are recording, and you actually had an executive put it to work when you got sideswiped, and that's part of your technology package. And the dual 14.3-inch screens off-road, you can make the camera view the entire dashboard, which is like unbelievable, but I'll touch on that in a second. You also have, the 360 view, but you've done some other things. I'll touch on that on off-roading. But on-road, steering effort is great. Brakes feel great. I wanted to go take this road tripping and go back to California right now. Like, I would drive it right now and put it in the LA fleet for you guys so you wouldn't have to ship it out there. It begs to go on a road trip.
Yeah, I recently took a 14-hour road trip out to Kansas and it there and back, and it was amazing. I've never had a more relaxing 14-hour drive because you get in, you got zero gravity seats, so you don't have any hot spots or pinch points. It's comfortable on your back. You're heated and ventilated seats. You've got massage function as well, and then you can do hands off. So I'm literally driving like I'm sitting in my recliner in my living room with my hands off the steering wheel where ProPilot Assist 2.1 was working, and the massaging seats in zero gravity, and it was just super comfortable, relaxing. I got there more refreshed than I've ever done that drive.
So on our drive, we did a little bit of highway, a little bit of back roads. I ended up doing about 20.2 miles per gallon. So if anybody's wondering, like, is this like a 12 mile per gallon, Barca Lounger? No, it actually got really impressive fuel economy on our drive loop. Can't wait to spend some more time in it. I just picked up this particular one. I didn't drive this. Somebody else did. When we picked it up, it was 19.9 miles per gallon that just came back from the drive loop. So I think fuel economy is going to be impressive for people. Power certainly is. Then we went to the off-road course, and it rained and rained and rained the past few days, and it was like your typical greasy, sloppy clay where it looks hard on the surface, but if you walk anywhere, you're sinking in your feet. Well, imagine driving a 60-something 100-pound vehicle through that. We had a chance to test out the traction control, the rear locker. One of the things that I will say is the air suspension at the highest setting in the Pro 4X still has a ton of compliance, so it's not harsh off-road. We're just going in and out and over ruts. The traction control system was great. Rear locker, super easy to engage. And back to the cameras. You have like a Sony PlayStation sort of view, which is this stitched together picture where you can rotate the vehicle in a 360-degree plane, and it puts all the everything behind you. You have one where the hood disappears, where you can see through, and the terrain's going under the car. You've got, the normal 360 view. You've got the trail view. You've got this one view where it's the nose, but then it's down the side of the vehicle, so you can see where your wheels are on the trail. And with the interior camera, you can actually use the app, and if you left your wallet or something sitting in the center console and your remote from the vehicle, you can have it take a picture and send it to you so you can see if you left something in the car. Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting. This wasn't the planning perspective, but one of the teams when we were working on kind of sharing with the marketing teams what we were doing, they're like, guys, this is like you gave people superpowers. You can literally see through the hood and see the ground. You can see through people cargo that are in the back of the vehicle. You can drive with your mind, with your hands off the steering wheel. I mean, you can do some really crazy stuff. You got an exoskeleton that'll tow 8,500 pounds and runs like a Banshee going at 425 horsepower. And so that resonated with me. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. I mean, again, that wasn't the planning intention, but we've been able to do a lot of really cool stuff with camera technology, with powertrain, all the rest to make, as we talked about this morning, inspiring confidence and demonstrating capability. And that's what this vehicle is all about.
So on the off-road course, there were some very steep, muddy embankments that we crawled up that were like 30 degrees, a couple car lengths or 3 car lengths high. And that really stressed the front of the four-wheel drive system, pulling you over the top in really greasy conditions while the rear locker pushed you up. We did a 25-degree or so side slope, which was all muddy. And then we did these offset moguls. And the offset moguls were giant to the point that I was able to balance the vehicle on 2 opposite wheels, and there wasn't one creak from the entire body structure. It was incredible. A bunch of people were taking pictures. So if you see pictures and there's 2 wheels in the air, that was me driving, all right? If you look at somebody else's work. But it was impressive not only how well it did off-road, especially for such a big vehicle. Didn't bottom out once. We were going through the backwoods. It was in and out of the trees, through the mud. Traction control was great. But just the compliance of the suspension and that higher setting that gave us the ground clearance, and the way everything worked. And then again, that tight body structure, you can feel how stiff everything is in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, you spoke to the performance, so I won't regurgitate that. But what I will say is, you got to experience the Pro 4X, and we listened. We talked to a lot of customers,
including me,
including you. Absolutely. I mean, that trip to Morocco I got a lot from it, and subsequent. But we talked to a lot of customers. We talked to a lot of media. We talked to a lot of dealers, and what we kept hearing over and over again was not just like, give me the patrol goodies, but give me a Pro 4X. So you saw it. Pro 4X means a lot to us as a company. It's more than just. It's not a sticker package. It's not a color thing. It's about real capability, and so you got to experience it, but we wanted to bring that. And so we're super proud to have the first Pro 4X Armada available.
So that's a resculpted front bumper for better approach angle. You get the suspension that's height adjustable. You get tow hooks. You get full skid plating. You get a rear locker. You drop down to a 20-inch wheel with a more aggressive Yokohama Geolandar all-terrain tire. So you actually get like a lot of really important bits with that, including, full-time auto 4-wheel drive high, actual 4-wheel drive high locked, a 4-low, and then you have all the drive mode settings. So what do you have, about 8 different drive mode settings?
8 drive modes,
yeah. And then hill descent control from there. And so we played with all of that stuff off-road, and the guys were like, hey, you want to do it again? I'm like, yeah. And it was all greasy, and we're sliding down hills in this thing, and it did awesome. So then after the off-road course, had a chance to take it out towing with a Airstream, probably a 23, 24-foot Airstream, 6,000 pounds dry, so under the, is it 8,000 or 8,500 pound tow?
8,500 pounds on all grades.
So all grades, two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, 8,500 pounds. So this was at 6, a little over 6 dry. Weight distributing hitch. I took it on about a 7 or 8 mile loop, and I was just telling Brent, I got a phone call in the middle of my drive in an unfamiliar vehicle, towing a trailer I don't normally tow, and carried on my phone conversation as if nothing was behind me. The vehicle's absolutely stable, more than enough power. Didn't even know the trailer was behind here. 8,500 pounds will be no problem in this thing. Everything worked great. You have the integrated trailer brake controller on this. And I was really impressed with just how overall as a package, no issues. I mean, we on-road, great. Off-road, really impressive. Towing a trailer, couldn't care less. It handled everything, and I think this is going to be an amazing vehicle for Nissan.
Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, you hit on 2 points there. One is the off-road capability. Like I said, this is a Patrol globally. It's an Armada here. There's an expectation. The Patrol, for those that don't know, got the nickname the King of all terrains because it was the first vehicle to climb Mount Fuji. It was the first vehicle to cross the Simpson Desert unaided in Australia. It's the King of all terrains. So there's expectation there. And then here in the U.S., we do a ton of off-roading, but we also tow big trailers that they don't do in other parts of the world. So it's really important that we deliver on that aspect. So, I mean, we were touched on it. The engineers have done a phenomenal job delivering one package that does everything that you want across the globe, whether it's the Patrol over in the Middle East or whether it's the Armada here. It should deliver on all those expectations.
Well, so far, I'm impressed. We're a fan of Nissan. Nissan makes great products, but feels like Nissan elevated. I feel like the vehicles that have come out lately, I've even driven the Kicks, which you had a hand in as well, which is an entry-level car, yet you get in and it doesn't feel like a cheap car inside. It's fun and it's just cool. My Aria that I took as a flyer as an electric car, I'm like, whatever. I'll just get it and I'll live with it for 18 months and we'll see how it is. Love it. And now this is the natural progression. You guys have a product onslaught 4 new products this year. You've got more products coming next year. There's some stuff that I understand hasn't been announced yet, so we won't be breaking any news here. But I think that there is a lot of really cool news and vehicles coming from Nissan in the next, 18 months?
Yeah, I mean, we're proud of what we have coming up. We're proud of what we have here today to show off the Armada. I appreciate you coming to my hometown, coming and doing the back roads that I do every day. So thank you for coming and experience that with me. And I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out and thanks to all the team. I'm here talking to you in front of a whole army of people who've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. My former boss, the friend of the show, Rich Miller, spent 4 years living in Japan working on this as an American, make sure that the American needs were met. And so there's a whole army of people that we give a lot of appreciation and thanks to because they poured their heart and soul into this vehicle.
So if you are looking for a full-size SUV and you need any off-road capability or you just want something luxurious, this thing is as good as anything on the market. Super impressive. It's not as expensive as many things on the market. If you put it on a spec sheet, item for item, price for price, what it has, it's a very compelling choice. And I think before, the Armada was good, but it wasn't maybe always at the top of somebody's list. This one should be on your top tier of things you're cross-shopping. I mean, it literally is that impressive. So just wanted to say thanks for your time. And I know I'm lucky because I get to interface with you guys sometimes during development and sometimes along the way. But to finally see the fruits of the labor and to be excited about it because you've been excited about it. And it's like, okay, it better be good because now it's been hyped up and the expectations are high. And to not be disappointed is so cool.
Thank you, Sean. We're super excited about this vehicle. Bring it to market. Really appreciate it.
Holman, thank you for bringing us that audio. That was good. Brent's good.
He's always good. Total pro, loves the product. He has been instrumental in his teams for shaping some of the Nissan trucks, so always good to catch up with him. I also grabbed an audio clip just because I know we all missed that 5.6 liter V8, and I'm like, you know what? It's so smooth, the V6, and it's kind of fun that it has roots back to the GTR in it. And there's little hints of I can hear the turbo every once in a while with the windows down, and it's the flat, just like I said in the interview, the torque curve is so flat, but I wanted people to hear what it sounds like. So here's a quick sound clip.
Now that's with no load on it.
Yeah.
I bet it would sound really good with some load.
It's yeah, it's one of those engines that V6s don't always sound great. This sounds super smooth and really growly, and the throttle tipping's great. So I just I think you can tell by the interview I'm a fan, and I'm excited to see what people start saying about it when they pick their own up because these things are going to be flying off dealer lots. And I'm sure Nissan hopes, but if my experience is any indication, great product.
Based on your experience at the LA Auto Show,
people loved it. They're walking up and they're like, what is that? I'm like, that's the Nissan Armada. And they're like, what? It's so modern looking and looks great. Still rugged and tough, super luxurious, super capable now that it has all the Patrol off-road bits on it like we talked about. It's great. So,
All right, how you feeling about a little Know Your Note?
Well, I always feel bad about it going in, and then about halfway through, after you get one or two right, I'm feeling overconfident, and then I feel like a failure as we forget or can't figure out the rest of them.
It's the roller coaster.
It is a roller coaster. So let's see if our friends who are listening can play along, and let's see if, like Lightning and Holman, do you guys know your note?
Come on now, it's time to take a trip down Speedy Lane. We're gonna play an exhaust for you, and nope, we're not insane. Well, maybe a little. Know your note. Come on and cast your vote. Know your note. Get it right and you can gloat. Know your note. Vroom, 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 vroom.
Still funny. I
love this
believe
one.
the first one up is Chuck D.
All right, so
from Public Enemy.
No. Chuck Davis writes, hopefully you enjoy this one. I've attached an MP3 file from a video of it running. It was already started when the video started, so you won't get a hint by hearing it start. Scroll down for the answer, which is hidden on my screen.
All right, here we go.
Like old hit and miss engine or something? It's rad.
That sounds like a motorcycle engine.
No, it's like an old hit and miss, like agricultural engine. It's some like small engine.
It's having some difficulty.
That's just how they run.
Yeah.
I am going to go with like a old hit and miss engine.
Well, what does that mean? Hit and miss engine? Man,
It's a style of engine.
No. I bet like what do you think that it's in? Is it in a?
No,
it's in a little tractor.
No, it's not in anything. They use there are these standalone engines that could run all sorts of things on your farm. So it's just a little engine.
Do Lightning and Holman?
Know your note.
I
All right, I'm
doubt it.
Scrolling down.
Okay.
So here we go. 1936 McCormick Deering LA 1.5 to 2.5 horsepower throttle governed engine. Single cylinder engine that started by turning a handle on the flywheel. The cooling system is just a reservoir of water that surrounds the combustion area and cylinder head. I rebuilt it from a pile of parts that sat in my dad's barn for 20 years. These were used for all sorts of things back in the 30s and 40s. Water pumps, corn shellers, sawmills, oil drilling. We've used it to power a 5-gallon ice cream maker. Here's a link to the video if you want to see what it looks like. And it is gorgeous.
Fully restored?
Fully restored.
That's cool.
Very cool.
I don't know anything about farm equipment. Just not a freaking thing. So I'm embarrassed to say that, but it's real. I
think I get at least half a point for that.
You do, absolutely.
All right.
I didn't even know what that term was.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that next one will be Jeremy Whaley, but I have a few. Should we do
Do part one.
part one? Here we go. And do Lightning and Holman.
Know your note.
God, that thing sounds crusty.
Yeah.
Sounds like a V8, but old. 60s, 70s.
God, I'm going to say
Like, I like it under throttle. Push rod. Carbureted.
so how big?
Biggish? I think it's...
Like a 289?
No. Bigger than that.
Okay.
Like, over 350.
I feel like
Big
this
block.
is we're gonna
big block.
We're gonna find out this is like a Ford Bronco or something.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
stupid.
some.
No, I'm gonna say it's a somebody's big block, push rod, carbureted, old.
Yeah,
And that's as much as I'm committing to.
you're gonna say old meaning 50s, 60s, or 70s.
60s, 70s.
60s. He says with very little confidence.
It sounds like crap, but then when he like revs it and it smooths out, I'm like, oh man, that sounds
I
good.
feel like we're gonna find out that this engine's in like a Scout or something.
All right, go ahead.
All right, Holman, I believe you have the answer. What is this unknown engine in? Because I'm all stumped.
All right, so he sends us a video of half a motorhome.
What do you mean half a motorhome?
Half a motorhome.
What is on the other half? Is just a chassis?
Yeah, look on the pod shed there.
Okay. Oh, Yeah, that's the front half of a Winnebago.
So it's a Winnebago Brave. He says Mopar 440 and 727.
Oh my gosh!
All right, I'm giving myself half a point for that too. I didn't see Mopar coming, but it didn't sound right for anything else. So
The Winnebago Concepts and Engineering Departments have developed a multifunctional bathroom. Privacy, I don't know what the I'm reading. I wonder what the real dialogue is.
I don't know.
all right, he sent us another one. So why don't you go ahead and play number 2?
That sounds like a tractor.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, that is cool. God,
It's pretty smooth.
that to me sounds like a
Four-cylinder something.
Yeah,
Yep.
four-cylinder. Yep.
You say tractor?
It's got to be in a tractor.
I-
It's got to, based on, I'm not going to say it's because the Winnebago was sitting on a piece of farmland.
Okay.
I'm guessing
So
it's
you're
something
just
he just
rolling into. Okay.
I have to think
I don't hate that answer, but
it's either like maybe could it be a forklift? No, that would be propane or something.
Well, that's not gonna make it sound that different.
Yeah, no. I'm just trying to guess what it could be, and I don't. Damn it!
I'm gonna go with tractor.
We're just awful at this.
I'm not.
Oh, damn! That's a tractor, and he spun the frickin'.
Here it is.
He started it by hand.
He says
he wound it.
His hand crank starting a 1952 Oliver Super 66 row crop tractor.
That's
cool.
Very cool, and it's rusty as hell, and it's super cool.
So the ranch has a Ford 9N on it, and it ran at one point, and my goal in life is to get the old Ford 9N running again, because that thing is super cool, and I hope it sounds
Half as cool as this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you very much, Jeremy, for sending that in, because clearly we do not know.
Know your notes.
We do not know our notes. No, not at all.
I thought we were doing pretty good.
You were doing okay. I was sucking bad.
All right. Colby sent us 5, so we're gonna rapid fire through these bad boys. So start with number 1, not the answer.
All right.
Ooh,
What is that idol? Oh, no, glass packish.
I love that.
Okay. That to me is like a Chevelle or something, right?
It's definitely a V8.
Okay. All
It's
right. That is-
small block
Yep.
V8.
Yes.
American.
For sure. You're not going. You don't like the kind of the Chevelle thing.
Muscle car, but I don't. It's Truck Show podcast.
Okay,
so
yeah,
he's either
just
screwing
truck.
with us.
Oh, you're
but
right.
I'm-
You're right. No,
but I'm gonna say truck anyway.
Let's say truck. Let's go truck. I'm going to get rid of the Chevelle. That's in a. Could it be a Ram?
No,
Like a gas Ram?
no. That's a Chevy V8.
I
right
know,
there.
but yeah, it is. But so
All
what
right,
would it be?
Play the answer. Let's see what he says.
So that there was a 1987 Chevy Suburban with the good old classic CBI 350 in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
V8 Chevy. I
don't
got
know
it.
How many zillions
And
miles on it?
I got truck.
But the exhaust on it is a glass pack cherry bomb.
You got
glass
that?
pack
Yeah.
With a drive line as a section of tubing because I ran out of exhaust tubing. and
Sounds
it was
totally
Huge
legit, Colby.
drive line.
temporary fix that's been on there for about 5 years. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All
That
right.
was kind of cool. Good job, Holman. And another one from Colby. He's on fire.
That sounds agricultural.
No, you know what this sounds like?
It's a 4-cylinder.
Yeah, this sounds like
It's like
a
mini truck or something.
Yeah, the Hino. No?
No, wait, did you hear the way it stopped?
Yeah,
It dieseled itself
you're
to death?
right, it did.
I want to hear it again.
Hold on. We'll just do the end or the whole thing?
Yeah, hold the whole thing. I wanna listen to it.
Okay.
It's clattery. That sounds like it could be a forklift. Propane.
Gosh.
Propane forklift.
A propane forklift. Okay.
I don't know. It just sounds too industrial to be a car.
It does. But I still think to me, it sounds, it's not, but it sounds like a diesel out of a Volkswagen.
It kind of sounds like a diesel, but
Yeah. Oh, man, this is killing me. Do we
Know your notes.
All right, here we go with the answer.
That there is a 1985 Kubota
Oh!
Diesel?
tractor, one of the little tiny 3-cylinder non-turbo diesel.
Oh, okay.
Basically, it's a giant snowblower. It has a snowblower attached to the front of it.
All right.
And
we were wrong.
all these know your notes from this section we're all taking when it's like 15 degrees outside.
Thank you for enduring the elements. I have a feeling, though, that's not that cold for you.
All right, so
Colby.
Kubota.
right.
Interesting. So we were
On the-
industrial.
we were
on the
kinda
path.
on the right path, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but we
just-
didn't
no.
reach our destination.
No, we starved to death.
No,
on the
we were
trail.
killed by a giant bear.
All right, here we go. Here's another one from Colby.
Bongos. Babaloo. Dirt bike.
Yeah.
2-stroke.
But what, though? It's two-stroke. All right, so I'm going to go with...
2-stroke 4-cylinder or a thumper?
No, that's a two-stroke
Single cylinder?
single-cylinder.
Thumper motorcycle.
That is like a... I'm going to go like a CR250.
I think that's
like a Honda.
I think that's safe, but I'm gonna say that's the safe choice. I'm gonna go with.
Don't tell me like Husqvarna or something like that. What are you going to
I
go
was
with?
thinking-
You're going to say Suzuki,
Well, I was
Yamaha,
gonna say
Cowie?
maybe Cowie or Husky.
I would go maybe... See, Husky...
But it's older.
not
You gotta
maybe-
remember, like-
Husky would still be a four-stroke. Right?
That's true. Okay.
I don't think Husky, they may have done, I'm sure they did two
Early.
strokes, but yeah, I'm going to say
too-
stick with one of the biggies. I would say, is it a Yamaha, a Cowie, or a
I
Honda?
think it's a sub 250, like maybe a 225 2-stroke. I'm gonna go Cowie.
Okay. I'm going to say
Feeling green.
I'm going to say it's a 250 or a 350.
Ooh, look at you.
Yeah.
That there was a 1997 Polaris RMK 700.
What?
So it's a twin-cylinder 700 with twin pipes,
We're not even
high
close.
compression head, and a few other little goodies on it.
We're not
We
even
failed. No.
close.
We weren't even on
a
the sidewalk.
700.
No.
That one stung. We sucked on that one. All right, let's keep going. Okay, that's another motorcycle.
Yeah.
He's just showing off now.
Yep.
That's clearly a four-stroke.
It's a ATV. He's a Polaris guy. I'm gonna go with
Yeah,
like it's a
that's a quad.
It's a 99 Polaris.
No, to me that's a Yamaha or a Honda quad. No, it's a three-wheeler. I bet he's the only
could
guy
be.
with an old Honda three-wheeler.
Could be.
Mm.
Yeah, but that sounded 4-stroke to me.
Weren't
that
they
two-stroke?
four-stroke? I thought
I
they were
don't remember.
four-stroke. The
It's been so
last
long.
generation. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, well, we're about to find out. Do Lighting and Holman.
Know your notes.
Nope.
That was a 97 Honda XR 400R with White Brothers exhaust on it.
So we're not good at motorcycles and small engines.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
All right,
All right.
well.
Colby, you get one last shot to make us look like bigger fools than we already. Squeaks.
Sounds like a really crappy V6. With a rod knock or something.
I'm just bummed.
Well, at
I
least it
haven't-
goes back into cars. I mean, it sounds like just a pile of crap V6.
I don't.
So listen, it's not
V6
smooth.
in What?
It's not smooth.
He's walking around his freaking farm, and I don't know.
It's some what's okay. Let's go through piles of old V. Ford,
Yeah,
but he's not a Ford guy, right?
it doesn't appear to be.
There was no V6s in the Ram Dodge family that I think would have made that.
Okay.
So and it's not a Toyota because it's not sweet enough. And he's got a bunch of old stuff.
Not like it's. There's no Nissan. There's no.
No. That's a 4.3.
You think so?
4.3.
Okay. Let's see.
It sounds like a V8 with two cylinders lopped off, people, and running awful.
Does Lightning and Holman.
Know your notes.
That was a Ford EcoBoost.
No.
Just kidding. It's an 85
Chevy 4.3 liter V6.
Oh,
that
no
I
way!
bought from my neighbor for $100, and it runs and drives.
Yeah!
Kind of.
Oh.
Well done. High five,
I-
Holman. Give me some skin.
All right,
There you go.
I'm going to...
Dude, ending on a solid note right there.
I felt like we did so bad with the
Yep.
motorcycles ones that we had to redeem ourselves. So
Congratulations.
Know your notes. Vroom, 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 vroom.
All right, if you've got a Know Your Note, please send it our way, and we promise not to suck as badly next time. 657-205-6105. You can leave it as a voicemail or email us a file, truckshoppodcast@gmail.com. Hey, Holman, look at your watch. You know what time it is?
Ooh, it's time for some Waffle House.
No.
Oh, last night at this time I was craving.
No. It's time for email.
Okay.
You email, yeah. I email, do it. We email, that's right. Everybody email, type it up. You email, proofread. I email, send it. We email, click it. Everybody email.
All right, I'm going to start here. Enough teasing is the subject line from Seth Anderson. And he says, hey, Jaboobly and Fruit Pants. I think I speak for everyone when I say, what the heck is happening with lightning?
I mean, I've been asking that for almost 7 years.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, no. He says, is he leaving the show? Is there a succession plan?
Oh, boy.
Lightning, thank you for all your work on the show. The audio quality was always excellent.
Well, that's going to go down.
Was, he says, by the way. And you did bring some good color commentary to the... He's already written me off. Look at this. I won't miss you talking over the guests, though, or taking 5 minutes to ask a single question. But y'all are a great team and with good chemistry, and I'll miss your ridiculous opinions on things from license plates to inappropriate speed for the HOV lane. Much love from Chicago. Thank you, Seth. And I would curse at you, but then I would have to edit it, so I'm not going to.
Just gonna leave that there, huh?
Yes.
All right, got this one from...
so he wanted some closure. He wanted me to tell him what's happening?
I want some closure.
I'm not telling him.
Okay, will you tell me?
I mean, after we turn the mics off.
All right.
Seth, it was nice knowing you.
We got this one from our buddy Ray, and he says, Mr. X, never a dull moment with the Truck Show podcast. It was just after midnight when I went to bed last night, Sunday, 12/1, but when I checked my podcast app and saw the latest episode with quote-unquote Mr. X, I had to listen to it no matter how late it was. Very cool episode. I'm hoping...
I would have done the very same thing.
Yeah,
when
right?
I saw Mr. X...
You're like, I have to know.
I need to know, yeah.
Plus, it was fun because we had to voice change him and all that stuff, which is...
Did you see how many... Like, I just saw...
That was our best episode of the year, by
I
the
was
way.
watching a video, and they were referencing... It was the YouTube guy, and he was referencing Mopar Insider, or one of those. And because I had to go to Mopar Insider.
Yeah.
Sure enough, Truck Show Podcast. We were on like 15 blogs.
No, it was great. Like I said, that was our best episode of the year, and we... well, I don't know if I can say yet because the embargo...
So you're saying you know more about the engine?
Yeah, I do know a lot more about it, but I can't talk about it yet until January, after the first of the year.
Oh, man.
What I can tell you is if you want to know stuff, listen to that episode.
So what you're saying is Mr. X was on point.
I'm not saying that because I'm under embargo, Lightning, but I'm just saying that's a great resource.
Yeah.
Just a few quick thoughts came to mind. Number one, I think Mr. X is right. You'd have to call the 2025 Ram HD Gen 4.75. Given that the 2020 HD refresh was known as Gen 4.5, it only makes sense that this drivetrain update should be called Gen 4.75. To my mind, that's a pretty accurate synopsis. Or if this Cummins plus ZF drivetrain upgrade is as sweet as we hope, I think it's going to be really sweet, maybe we'd call it Gen 4.9. Hopefully now that they've canned Tavares, thank you, 2 years too late, they'll give Ram the money to create a proper 5th gen HD series. I would imagine that they're at the end of the line for the current body. I would think that the next one in a few years would be the updated body.
I feel like we're going to see something major in 27. I think we're going to see something major from GM in 27 and Ram in 27.
I think we're going to see something major this year.
Really?
That hasn't been fully... I think there's more coming. Number two, it was interesting to me that the discussion was lamenting that Ram's Cummins didn't surpass the high output 6.7 power stroke power and torque, yet no mention was made of that fact. Supposedly, GM bowed out of the HP torque wars a few years ago by keeping their latest generation Duramax at whatever horsepower in the same 975. Everyone seems okay with the performance of the Duramax, even though GM chose not to hype up the HP torque numbers. Why wouldn't folks be happy with keeping effectively similar numbers of the Gen 4.75 Ram Cummins? I did bring that up. I mean, my whole thing is that 8-speed is going to make the Cummins way more flexible, so it's going to feel like there's a lot more power than you feel today. So, and you're right, Ray. I mean, you get to a point, Ford just like destroyed the field, right? Like they just, everything's laid in waste. It's like I'm sitting here at 1,200 or whatever it is now, and they're like
1,200 pound-feet of torque right off the dealer lot.
They're
it's
like,
crazy.
Come catch me. And everybody's like, all right, well, maybe that's a lot. We have warranty costs. And Ray says, number 3, while extolling the reliability of the ZF transmissions and the Ram 1500s and other Mopars, which is legitimate praise, no mention was made of the fact that both Ford and GM have been having a lot of significant troubles with their 10-speed transmissions for the past few years. From what I've read so far about the upcoming medium-duty truck ZF training that Ram will be using the power line in the HDs, and if ZF's history and Mopars are any indicator, the 4.75 Gen Ram HD transmissions will be trumping the Ford and GM 10-speeds. I wonder how happy Allison is now to have the phrase Allison branded associated with GM's problematic 10-speeds. Thanks for yet another great episode, and that's from our friend Ray.
Okay, Ray, I have not seen those issues. I see a lot of people talking about them on Facebook, but I don't see that. My customers that are rolling into banks, they're not complaining about the 10-speed. It's happening. To what degree, I don't know. I'm hoping that it doesn't blow up in GM's face because I think that 10-speed, I love it. Like, I really enjoy driving that 10-speed. So whenever I can get one of our 20s or newer, I do. I take it. And I like it better than the Ford 10-speed. So there's that. This one's coming from Ryan Evans, subject line Chick-fil-A surprise. Holman, thank you for translating my last email. It sounded good in my head, and then when someone reads, my true shorthand actually comes out. So, Jay, how do I order my Chick-fil-A? Spicy chicken with their sauce only? No fries? The interesting thing is I was in New Orleans last week traveling for work, and I ordered my normal 3 sandwiches. What gives? Their chicken is so much bigger in Michigan. Ripped off, Ryan Evans. Is it?
It's another Chick-fil-A stream of consciousness from our friend Ryan Evans.
Is it? Is it any different? Like,
no,
I don't think
this
so.
Is the thing. Chick-fil-A is not using chicken ground up and then pushed into the same ounces, right? They're approximate, and they're shaped funny. Like sometimes they have 4 inches hanging outside the bun on one end,
all the
and
time,
it's thin and crispy, and the other side it's big plumping in the middle, and it's like it's natural chicken. So like they're going to be different sizes. So sometimes I get a big fat plump one, and but here's the thing. Sometimes when I get a thinner one, because you get more batter on there and it's crispy, I'm like, I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it too.
Yeah.
You got to get the pickles though, in my opinion.
You have to get the pickles.
You got to get
That's
the pickles,
part of the magic.
and you got to have the sauce.
Yeah, all of it.
Whether you get cheese or not, I don't know. The cheese adds a little bit, but not a ton.
You only do cheese if you do a deluxe. It's weird.
But I do the deluxe.
Okay.
I do the deluxe, and I don't mind the lettuce. Like, lettuce is not my thing necessarily. This is salad,
well,
but
and you don't,
I think the deluxe is okay.
Yeah, you
as
don't
long as it's not
digest
wilty.
or process or digest lettuce well.
You don't?
No, you, because I've been in this shed with you for a number of years.
I think I process lettuce just fine. Now, chili dogs, on the other hand.
All right, got one last one from Chris at Old Trucks Work, who is one of our longtime listeners. He says, Sean and Lightning, I'm saddened that Warner Brothers Discovery decided to shut down Motor Trend Studios and end production on all automotive content that they were working on. I'd been a Motor Trend Plus subscriber from its inception till its demise when Warner Brothers transitioned that content to DSC Plus, who I still subscribe to. But it's not really surprising that Motor Trend Studios was closed down. Warner Brothers Discovery is in a seriously challenging financial waters with a bunch of debt and year-over-year declining revenue from its legacy cable business. Talk about a bad place to be. There have been articles postulating that they will spin off their shrinking cable business in order to spin that debt off as well. Other articles have talked about bankruptcy within the sales of IP, such as the DC brand. Motor Trend Studios had a pretty robust organization to produce that variety of shows that we all watch and love. However, that's a tiny fraction of the viewership that watches, for example, Shark Week and all the other reality content. I also suspect that the most of the more popular content that is made on contract, so there are no WBD employees working on that, they just pay for it. Since Motor Trend Studios were direct employees, they got the axe to reduce operating expenses. Simple fact of the matter is that we're a relatively niche market for WBD BD, and as a result, we were ripe for the chopping block as the C-suite was casting around for ideas to reduce operating expenses and prop up their profitability, as car guys simply don't spend enough on digital media to matter to them. I'll probably keep my subscription through season 13 of Roadkill. By the way, I believe that just started or it's on the way. But barring them standing up new quality automotive-related content, I'll probably cancel. The availability of automotive content on Discovery Plus was the only reason I kept the subscription in the first place. Not much of a Shark Week or Gold Rush fan. Please keep doing what you guys do. Love the content as always. You are first up on Mondays and Thursdays on the ride into the office. Some more vintage truck content would be cool as well. Thanks, Chris. And Chris, we appreciate you. You can follow Chris at Old Trucks Work on Instagram. Funny story. So while I'm in Nashville, I've got these college kids around me, and they're asking me about what it was like to be a magazine guy. Because I'm like, you guys have no idea. We didn't have social media. We didn't have cameras following. Like, we did a bunch of stupid stuff. They're like, oh, you have to tell us stories, right? And so I'm drinking with my buddy Greg, and so I'm free flowing.
The walls come down.
But let me tell you something funny that happened. I proceed to tell them a particular story, and they're like, "That's BS. That never happened." And I'm like, "No, it happened." They're like, "No, it didn't." And I cannot tell that story here. It's not for public consumption. So I texted Mike Finnegan. I go, "Hey, Mike, are you up?" He goes, "Yeah, what's up?" I go, "Can I call you really quick? I'm with my godson and his brother and his college friends, and they don't believe me." He's like, "Yeah." So we call. So these guys, and they all watch Roadkill, right? So they all know who Mike Finnegan is. They're like, "Oh my God, you're calling Mike Finnegan." I'm like, "Mike, tell them how we know each other and tell them the story." He's like, "Which one?" I go, "This one." He goes, "Oh, yeah." I guess, "Do you want me to tell the other one too?" I'm like, "No." And they're like, "No, now you have to." And Mike Finnegan proceeded to validate my story and then completely shame and embarrass me with another one that I didn't see that coming. So
Sweet.
Shout out to my buddy Mike Finnegan because he made me look like a hero to the college kids.
TruckShowPodcast@gmail.com if you want to try to convince Holman to tell you an embarrassing story.
There we go.
Yep. All right. We love you guys.
The Truck Show, the Truck Show, the Truck Show, oh, oh.
And you can always reach out to Holman at TruckShowPodcast.com or Truck Show.
I still have Lightning at TruckShowPodcast.com. It still works.
For now.
It's going to work until I stop paying you to keep it working.
Okay, is that how that's
Lightning
going
at
to work?
TruckShowPodcast.com, yes. I like having that email address.
At LBC Lighting, at Sean P. Holman, of course, at Truck Show Podcast. And really, guys, we appreciate you. Everybody who has bought a Nissan or used our code at AMSOIL or got an EGR roll track cover or Banks products. You guys have been awesome with supporting the show. We've got some new advertisers coming in the new year that I think you're going to love. There may be some discount codes on some new cool products. We're working on that right now. And I'll let our new host tell all about it when he arrives here, or she.
Bye.